The guys at Fantasy Football Hub have been kind enough to offer any FPL TV viewer a huge 25% discount on membership if you get signed up before the season starts. By becoming a member of the Hub, you'll gain access to one of the fastest growing fantasy football communities with a range of brilliant fantasy tools. This includes team reveals from the top FPL managers, extensive Opta stats, head-to-head player comparisons, fixture difficulty tables, articles, and much, much more. To claim this 25% discount, simply click the link in the description box below or use the discount code FPLTV25 when signing up. Hey guys, and welcome back to FPLTV. If you didn't know already, our beloved FPL has now gone live for the new season, and we can begin to look forward to a fresh start for the 2021 campaign. Now remember, there's still 4 weeks to go until Game Week 1 even starts, so my advice is to stop this video now, close this browser window, and go and enjoy all the wonders that life has to offer. If, however, you're like me and don't have a life outside of fantasy football, then not to worry. FPL TV is here for you now and right through to the end of the season with plenty of FPL content on the way. So, if you'd like to join me on this roller coaster of emotions that we call FPL, then be sure to get subscribed to FPL TV. You can also click the notification bell so you always know when a new video goes live. In this short video, we're going to quickly run through the key information about next season's game to get you up to speed on any important changes. So the first thing to note is that, as mentioned, the FPL game is now live. Simply head to fantasy.premierleague.com or download the Premier League app and you can start building your team immediately. The second thing to note though is that despite the game being live, the Premier League fixtures have yet to be released. The fixtures for this season should be out by the 21st of August and will therefore be added to the game shortly after. This will no doubt help us in drafting our Game Week 1 squads. A very important bit of information for this year's FPL game is that the game week deadlines have now been changed. Usually, we'd have to submit our teams and captain choices 60 minutes before the first kickoff of the game week, but now this usual 60-minute window has been increased to 90 minutes, so we'll need to confirm our lineups 1.5 hours before the first kickoff. In the previous season, there was quite a bit of controversy with early team lineups getting leaked over on Twitter. So understandably, FPL have now changed the deadline to 90 minutes to try and stamp this out where possible. Be sure to keep this in mind so as not to get caught out when selecting your teams and making last-minute transfers. Next up is the chips for this season, and they all remain the same. The triple captain, bench boost and free hit are all available to use once this season, whilst we'll still be gifted with 2 wildcards. The deadline to use the first wildcard will still, as usual, be around the end of December, but naturally, because the season is starting in mid-September this year, rather than back in August, this means we do get a bit less time to use the first wildcard than we're used to. This season, Game Week 16 looks to be our last chance to use the first wildcard, whilst we'll have the remaining 22 game weeks to use the second one, and remember, the wildcard doesn't carry over. The last thing needed to get you up to speed with the new season is all the players who have had their positions changed and updated by FPL. This is something that's always good to be aware of when heading into a new season, because as we know, defenders, midfielders and forwards all score points differently in FPL, and a player being reclassified into a different position can completely change the context of their viability as an FPL option. For example, the man, the myth, the legend John Lundstrom was listed as a defender last season, therefore not only did he get more points for a goal, but he also benefited from all those Sheffield United clean sheets. The average player could look at his excellent points total from last season and now think he provides great value this year at 5.5 million in midfield, when compared to others in that price range. But remember, due to his reclassification, he'll no longer get points for those clean sheets, therefore making him less appealing. So, here's a complete definitive list of all the players that have had their positions changed this season. 18 players have been reclassified in total, and no doubt the highest profile players are those from Arsenal and United. Due to them playing predominantly on the flanks last season, Aubameyang, Rashford and Greenwood have all now been listed as midfielders. This move makes them even more appealing than they were last season, because as midfielders, they'll now receive an extra point for a goal and also an extra point if their team keeps a clean sheet. For this reason, their prices have been given a significant increase. Listing Aubameyang as a midfielder does feel a bit naive from FPL, because with the signing of Willian, we could easily see Aubameyang playing as a centre forward again this season. Ultimately, I'm not complaining. As debatable as it may be, Aubameyang as a midfielder is a very exciting prospect in FPL this season. On the other side of things, Anthony Martial has now swapped with Rashford, with the Frenchman being listed as a forward due to him playing as the lone striker last season. As we move down to the slightly lower profile players, Diogo Jota at Wolves has now been moved back to midfield, just like he was in the 18-19 season. This makes owning both him and Jimenez simultaneously a lot more convenient this season, rather than taking up two forward spots. Jota isn't the most consistent of players, but he has been known to hit short bursts of form and could be a handy midfield option if you time his purple patch correctly. Elsewhere, both Antonio and Richarlison have now been changed to forwards, and given Antonio's fine form for West Ham at the end of last season, he could provide excellent value at 6.5 million. Of course, he is less appealing as a forward now, but his price reduction does counterbalance that, and looking at the forwards in this price range, there doesn't seem to be many better. Further down, we have Fernandinho, Eric Dyer and Ryan Sessegnon all being changed from midfielders to defenders this season. Players I likely won't be looking at, but it's really a shame that Sessegnon hasn't been shown any faith or game time since his move to Spurs, because considering the attacking ability he showed at Fulham, he could have been a great outside pick as a £5 million defender this season. One to watch perhaps if he does start to feature. The last three changes, and perhaps the lowest profile moves, are the 4.5 million budget options, with Aston Villa's Vasilev and Davis being moved to forwards, and Everton's youngster Gordon being reclassified as a midfielder. So that's all the information you need to know to get your head back into FPL this season. If you enjoyed the video or found it useful, then be sure as always to leave a like, and most importantly get subscribed to FPLTV. I'll be back very soon with plenty of FPL content through pre-season, with a fixture analysis on the way once they've been released. FPL responsibly, and I'll catch you all very soon.